Hi, so we are going to start off this class with a very important project. We're talking about ethics this semester, so that kind of means we need to think about what that means. So let me give you a quick overview of what our week is going to look like for the rest of this week. Hopefully you've already done the getting started projects. When you do these, as the grades get submitted, you'll see a check mark here. A few of these I have to wait till the end of the week until you've done some stuff, and then I can check it out. But when a grade is posted, you'll see a check mark there. You'll also notice an announcement that goes into your Discord channel, your notes channel. That's an automatic thing. So when a grade gets posted here, it automatically notifies you in Discord. There are a few other things that you can check off yourself, just a little side note. So these are some resources, and almost everything else you can check off. And this is just for you. This just tells you that you looked at it or that you did something with it. But if it's an assignment, which is usually indicated by a red bar and it says assignment, that's something I have to put in before you see the checkbox. Anyhow, make sure you get all those done. Most of you have done that already, which is really good. You'll see a new block opened up, the week 1 block. And what we're doing this week is starting off identifying what ethics are all about, all right? So start with the checklist. You're already watching the video, so that's a good place, but start with the checklist and you can print this off. The checklist every week just gives you context for what the links are in the class. And they literally give you check boxes. So you can check the box, you can print it off, check the box when you've got this done. Once you've taken a look at the checklist, then we're going to jump into the resources. And so this is a really interesting article. I'll open up in a new window talking about this whole idea. We're just a starting point. What are ethics all about? And there's lots of different ideas about that. All right. So keep in mind that when we discuss things like ethics, everybody comes to this with their own value system, with their own history, with their own experiences. And so we need to be able to have conversations about this without getting all hot and bothered. All right. So this is just a starting point. This is a nice video. What is ethics? Go ahead and watch that. That'll give you kind of an overview of some things to think about. When you're done with that, the next section, I'm going to have you explore some things. All right. New tech, new ethics. And this is a TED playlist, and it's got a whole bunch of different topics about ethics and technology and how that wraps into lots of different things. What I want you to do is just watch, I don't know, 1 or 2 of these to start. We'll probably come back to this playlist because it really does have a lot of really good, very interesting things that we ought to think about. All right. So you're going to watch 1 or 2 of these. I'm going to give you a place to post where I just want you to do a short summary on what you thought on one of those videos. And then down here, there's a couple of assignments. So your 2-minute introduction is going to be simply this, and you can do this in Zoom, you can do a screencast, you can do however you want. But I want you to do a short introduction, literally under 2 minutes, that on video tells us who you are and why you're interested in this topic, like what you think the most interesting thing will be in this topic. You can include something surprising that we don't know about you that you think we should, or that people might not guess at first glance. I'll let you take it from there, but pretty much keep it pretty simple. I'll give you a place to upload that and some instructions in that assignment for how to do that. This next part is crowdsourcing ethics. And what this has to do with is you're going to go on a search, okay? We're going to begin the search of figuring out what are the big questions, what are the big problems that people are trying to identify or solve or that cause issues. And so we need to know what those are, right, to start off with. And so part 1, you're going to investigate, and I give you some guidelines here. There's some places to start. Those aren't the only places, but those are some good places. And you're going to just do some searching, like what are the issues? And you might already have some ideas. So start there, okay? But broaden out a little bit because I want you to identify at least 5 major issues with ethics and technology. What are some things that we need to think about? And then the second part of the investigate is then look for some professional organizations that have a code of ethics listed on their website, okay? There's a lot of different professional organizations in technology, information technology, computer programming. There's just all kinds of organizations. See if you can find at least 3 that have different codes of ethics, all right? And what you might want to do is keep a Google Doc. I kind of suggest that up here. Create a Google document where you can sort of start taking notes, just a note-taking document. We might refer back to that later on. I think you'll find that useful. Part 2 in the identify. So after you've kind of been looking around, what I want you to do is identify 5 major issues, 5 different issues that have to do with computer technology. And in your notes, you're going to list the issue, a short description that includes the summary and the impact. And by short, I just mean a couple of sentences. I don't want like a 5-paragraph essay here. You're going to include a resource link about more information, something that describes that issue or brings up things to think about, some sort of resource, all right? And it should be short, but it should have enough information that we know what you're talking about. And then you're going to select one of those 5 that you think is the most interesting. See if you can find a case study. So a case study is just a real life example, application, something that illustrates what that issue is all about. So for example, in our Zoom talks this week, I talked about, at least for most of the groups, this idea of privacy and security in medicine, and that I had a telemedicine appointment. And I was concerned about privacy because I didn't know, is the doctor in the hallway with all the doctors and nurses and other patients walking by? Are they in a private room? What's the security of the internet connection? Can it get hacked into? Can somebody be listening in? So that's a real case study of something that might happen with this. So see if you can find some real world examples of that one issue you find the most interesting. And then the second part is go back to those code of ethics statements. So they're going to all have a list of things. Sort through the list and make another list of what they all have in common. My guess is they probably all have 3 or 4 things that are similar across all the lists. So see if you can pull out the common elements of the code of ethics statements that you find. Now, what do you do with that? So what you're going to do with that is you're going to jump over to Discord. There's now a #1 crowdsourcing or a channel crowdsourcing ethics channel. And you're going to create a post, keeping in mind that there's a 2,000 character limit. So I really don't want the big 5-paragraph essay on this. I want you to be short and sweet. I want you to be complete but concise so that you include all the information, but we don't have to read through a book to figure out what it is. Okay. So this is a real skill to be able to do this. So it's good to practice. And so what you're going to do in your post, and if it bleeds over to a second post, that's okay. Just organize it in a way that makes sense. Like have one post be about the first part and another post be about the other part. So anyhow, list each of the 5 issues with the information requested. So if you go back up, what am I talking about there? The description, the summary, the impact, that. Okay. And that should just be a couple of sentences. And then discuss the case study summary and the source where you found that, and identify which issue you're talking about. Okay, so it's the case study about whatever the issue is, and then give a link to more information about it. And then finally, list the 3 code of ethics links and a summary of what's in common. Okay, so give us some links to your original sources. And what I'd like you to do, this is where posting early is better, is double check that at least 2 of your sources aren't ones that somebody already used. So you can use one somebody else has used, somebody else has posted, but the other 2 ought to be original ones. So this might be a little tricky. We'll see how it works out, but do your best to find original stuff that somebody else hasn't used. That means you have to go check first. And then for credit on this, what you're going to do is post to the Discord channel. That's where I'll look for it. That's where I'll grade it. I typically put a green check mark on something on your post in Discord when I have seen it and processed it. So if you see a check mark, you know that I've put a grade on it. But I want this to really be the starting point for a discussion. And here's some tips for how to format it, because make it readable. Don't just put a huge chunk of a ginormous paragraph. It's okay to make spaces. It's okay to do formatting, highlight things. make it readable. So that's the main assignment for the week, actually, is that one. But there is another one in here, a final one, and it's not open until Friday afternoon. And it says logging out assignment. And this just is going to have a couple of questions. I probably won't do this every week, but I probably will do it every once in a while. And so sometime after Friday afternoon, take a few minutes. This helps me take the temperature of the class. This helps me understand where you are at personally. This gives you a chance to ask me any questions that I can respond back to. There's all sorts of good reasons for this logging out journal. So this is all going to be available here shortly. I'll open it up. It'll be ready to go, and I'll post an announcement to Discord to let you know that it's ready to roll. As soon as I upload this video and attach it, we'll be good to go. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else this week? I think that's it. We're not going to do Zoom next week. I decided we're going to wait till week 3 to start that so that I can find good times. I'm still sorting through everybody's journals. So use Discord to send me messages. That's the best way. And I'm excited. I'm really excited actually to see what you guys come up with because there's so many good issues.